Etherly, also known as Chud the Builder, and another man were both shot during this exchange. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry has more on the investigation.
Controversial streamer Dalton Etherly, known online as Chud the Builder, is accused of shooting a man outside the Montgomery County Courthouse. The sheriff's office says both Etherly and another man were taken to the hospital for medical treatment. After the shooting, Etherly appeared to keep live streaming for several minutes. In the video, Etherly can be heard saying, quote, "Man, I just pray that dude is going to be all right. I tried to walk away from him." Court records show Etherly was scheduled for a civil debt appearance that morning in Montgomery County. In Etherly's stream, he claimed the incident started after a man laughed at him. Etherly claims he walked away after interacting with the man. The man followed him, and a fight broke out. That's when Etherly drew his weapon. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is pursuing charges against Etherly for criminal attempted murder, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Etherly is also facing a separate criminal case in Nashville. He's accused of refusing to pay a $400 bill to Bob's Steak and Chop House downtown and screaming racial slurs. Etherly has over 226,000 followers on X, all due to his live streams where he's shown in places like Broadway, Clarksville, and Gatlinburg, insulting and calling people racial slurs.
All right, Chud the Builder, Peg the Builder, Chud the Butt Plug, Chud the Bitch Boy, whatever you want to call him. He's been arrested for attempt M1. He's down at the county jail having a fit, nervous breakdown, can't make bail, and it's all because his stupid, foolish ways. By the way, I think this guy is the son of the guy to your left, Ron Jeremy, which is also in prison. So he's going to be joining his father. So today I had to take some time to address this because he done tore his ass, y'all. So we're going to get into this video and then I'm going to get back with you because it looks like Chud the Builder going to be spending some time behind bars. And I'm talking about a long time behind bars. Right now, he's in the county jail, can't make bail. He's got over $250,000 in his GiveSend, but he can't access that because he's locked down, fortunately. So we're going to get into this video, and I'll get back with you. Hit the like button if you ain't hit the like button yet. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. That helps me to keep bringing you videos like this. Let's get into it.
In a GiveSend Go post, Etherly writes, "I've shared mild jokes, unfiltered thoughts, and yes, sometimes I've used the N-word in what I thought was edgy, harmless humor. I know it's controversial, but it's my right to speak freely." Etherly is booked into the Montgomery County Jail, where he's being held without bond. He will have his arraignment and bond hearing on Friday in Nashville.
The Montgomery County charges, he's facing up to 60 years behind bars just for the attempted homicide alone. Now, the other 3 charges can stack up, and those can add to potentially decades behind bars. The real thing that will get him is the mandatory minimum. If Chud the Builder is hit with all of those charges, he will absolutely be locked away for a very, very long time. Now, let's look at the self-defense analysis, because this is the real debate. The real debate is, was this self-defense? Now, Tennessee has a stand your ground law. So in Tennessee, it requires 4 things: lawful presence, lawful conduct, reasonable belief of the need for force, proportionality, and no initial aggressor. So you have to have all of those things. And this is an affirmative defense. So if the prosecutors can actually knock out one of these elements, just one of these things, he's guilty, because you have to admit that you did it. You have to say, I shot the guy, but here's my defense. So if they knock out your defense, all you're left with is, I shot the guy. That's literally all that's left of that analysis. So when you actually apply that to Chud's case, there's some arguments pro and against Chud. First of all, he's in a public place where he had the right to be, so the lawful presence, lawful conduct, we're going to assume that. It doesn't appear at the time Chud was committing a crime, although we'll have to see how the ultimate facts play out and all the reports happen. We also have claims from Chud's side that Joshua Fox actually punched first. And if you combine this with, once again, reports of him being the stalker, of him following him, etc., then you might say, okay, this is the person who provoked this, the person who started this. But that's not where the analysis ends, and you do have to look at the other elements, such as proportionality and reasonableness. This is where you might have some trouble. Now, another factor is to argue the anti-Chud side, the arrest warrant, where we actually have the facts. And mind you, there were over 100 witnesses there that day. So there were many, many people watching this, observing this, and they were looking at this and saying, okay, what happened here, and getting that into the police report. So looking at what was actually written down, it states that he escalated. The bladed stance and reaching for the gun, that's going to be escalation under a stand your ground self-defense analysis. So that's not going to look good. Also, it generally does not look good when you have non-deadly force, a punch, versus deadly force of multiple shots. Now, before anybody gets out there and goes crazy, yes, punches can sometimes be something you respond to deadly force with. For example, if someone's punching you in the head, that can be treated as deadly force, and you can respond accordingly. However, in general, for example, if you're just getting body punched or just a regular punch, typically a regular punch is something that you don't respond with a gun, and that's proportionality, right? So if your response is above the level where it should be, that's going to be failing a self-defense analysis. If someone punches you, typically you'd punch them back. That's a fist fight. You get in a fist fight. You're not drawing a knife or a gun or something else in that scenario. Now, the other thing is the bystanders. The bullets were ricocheting and going around, and that goes to the reasonableness of him pulling out his gun and firing multiple shots at Joshua Fox, because they're going to look at that and they're going to say, is that a reasonable use of force? Did he use more force than was necessary in this scenario? The other factor, which I think is massive and I do think plays into the overall analysis, particularly reasonableness, is the fact that he was live streaming and that he had a documented history of confrontations. So he was live streaming to get the rage bait. That's why he exists on the internet. That's what he does. That's how he makes his money, is by getting people to rage. And because of that, you can see that when combined with the history, combined with other things he's done, as showing, hey, this guy was trying to provoke this, and this was the natural, in fact, even reasonable, expected outcome. Here's my judgment. Based on all of the warrants and what we have for the affidavits and all the evidence we've gotten from the actual government, I think Chud's self-defense argument is likely to lose. I also think that a jury of normal people, even conservative people in conservative Tennessee, most normal people that are not internet brained, are going to look at this and say, yeah, Chud, you went beyond what was reasonable. The force you used here was beyond reason. His other actions while live streaming also deserve jail time. You have to look at the totality of what he is doing, going into private businesses and trying to tell them what to do, to dictate what they do, to be disorderly, be disruptive. All these things deserve punishment because people will come out and copycat these things. People will see these actions, see the virality, see the news, and they will try to be the next Johnny Somali, Chud the Builder, etc. They will do these things absolutely. And if there is not a harsh punishment for nuisance streamers, there's going to be an infinite amount of copycats tomorrow. And part of the law is to disincentivize this behavior, to say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't be doing this. And I think Chud definitely needs some prison time in this case. The other factor I'll point in at the end here is his bail was set at $1.25 million.
So for a while now, Chud has been walking around harassing black people, calling them the N-word. And then he's got this pepper spray on him. He's got his ratchet handy just in case he has to clap something, you dig? He's telling them, oh, you're chimping out, you're acting like a primate, provoking people, basically, so he can go ahead and pew-pew them. And all of his alt-right buddies can be like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Race war. Because, you know, there's a lot of people who are into ignorance, like Chud is. He has a whole following. And you can tell by the money he's raised already. He's got over 200,000 followers on X. But see, it's not about the N-word. It's about the actions that come after the N-word. Because historically, before them folks lynched somebody or pew-pewed somebody or took them out, they would always use that word. So he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting himself into. He even went so far as to write a little manifesto saying the grand finale is going to be him clapping a chimp. Yeah, giving him a standing ovation, a round of applause. But this guy, he ended up getting into it with the wrong guy. And the guy put hands on him. But unfortunately, the guy was pew-pewed. But Chud is a moron, so he pew-pewed himself. Yeah, he got hit in the arm. His attempt was a failure. He failed, and now he's sitting in the county jail and can't make bail. And you got all his people online. They're like, free Chud, yeah. He should be able to say what he wants, freedom of speech. But hate speech isn't protected under the freedom of speech clause. You can't go around saying anything and provoking people and then getting up in their faces and then calling self-defense. It doesn't work like that. As you can see, the lawyer said it himself. You got many of these right-wing lawyers, they're already saying it ain't looking too good for Peg the Builder. It looks like he's going to be going away for some time, all because of his ignorance and foolishness. He wanted to start a race war. He wanted to get it popping, but he didn't. So he failed at best. And I heard some guys online saying, yeah, when he gets into the prison system, the Aryans are going to pick up on him and they're going to use him for one of their crash test dummies. But I was telling the guy, I don't think that's going to happen because he's hot. Nobody wants to deal with a hot thought like Peg the Builder. You understand me? And plus, he was getting pegged by a black woman. Yeah, he was getting a whole 10 inches up his rear end by a black woman. So, oh man, they were already having fun with him online and calling him out and calling him all kind of names. These people don't want him to be part of their group. They don't want to be associated with him in prison because he comes with heat. He makes the block hot. So I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think he's going to get some time. He's sitting in the jail cell now and he's crying and he's trying to get somebody to go ahead and put that 1.2 up for him. He even hit up Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross said, hey, I ain't touching that. So we just got to see how this plays out. I mean, and if you ask me, I think it's going to play out really bad for Bitch Boy the Builder. He had priors prior to this. He had 2 open cases already and was out on bail. Had he been a black person, he would have never, ever even been in the situation he in because he'd be locked up. The first time he got arrested again and was out on bail, they would have held him without bail. But as you could see, the racist judge, he's trying to act like, I got to do something. So he went ahead and gave him a high bond, hoping that somebody gonna go get him, which is still possible. But he was supposed to get no bond. Even the DA recommended he gets no bond. Yet, out on bail, still committing crimes, harassing people, he got a bond. But nobody wants to touch him. None of the bail bondsmen in the city wants to touch him. See, it's usually 10% or whatever your bail is. So he would have had to pay $125,000. But not in this case. In this case, he has to put up 10% and some collateral that's worth half of that. Or he has to pay at least $500,000. He doesn't have that. So it looks like he's going to have to fight his case from inside the jail, which is the worst place to be when you're trying to fight a case. You understand me? He's in jail as calm as can be. He ain't crunk. He ain't saying the N-word. He ain't acting a donkey. He's talking about God, having nervous breakdowns and everything. But that's what that belt to your ass will do to you. You know, that BTA ain't nothing to play with. It's real serious. And a lot of people need that. And that's what Chud needed, and that's what he got. But this ain't over. He got a long way to go before it's over. And the end will be Peg the Builder laying down on a cot, getting 3 hots, and maybe turning into somebody's thought. But leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Chud the Builder getting locked up for harassing black people, calling them the N-word. Leave a comment down in the comments section. Click that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one.
Our look is Chesley Major.
Chesley Major.
Yeah.